I don't know how long this will be, but I wanted to preach on a concept that I thought I mastered in my life. And I realize now that, honey, with knowledge, you can never say you know enough, you know? So it's self-love and emotional intelligence. You know, these things, you don't wake up and say, I want to love myself, and then you love yourself. You're fooling yourself. You don't wake up and say, I want to be emotionally intelligent, and then you're emotionally intelligent. No, it's a journey. And by journey, I mean it's a journey that doesn't have a destination, because there are certain circumstances, certain people, certain situations that reveal certain things about you that make you realize, actually, I'm not where I thought I was. Actually, I haven't mastered this thing as I thought I did, you know? So, and it's okay. But self-love goes far beyond you putting a picture of yourself on social media and captioning it that I love myself, you know? That is the tip of the iceberg. That is the final stage of self-love once you show it to people, you know? There's work that goes in. And it's very uncomfortable work. It's very emotionally draining work. But it has to happen in order for you to get to a point where you say, I'm very content with myself. I'm very proud of myself. I am very cognizant of the fact that I'm a human being. You know, you don't get a degree and say you are proud of yourself and think that's the only part of self-love. Yes, it's part of it, but there's work that needs to be done, work that doesn't show itself materialistically, work that you need to do in yourself, and take an emotional journey. And that requires you to be very honest. It's a very uncomfortable journey because you need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with the fact that the mistakes that you make, you were actively involved. You need to be honest with the fact that, because before you get to a point where you say, hi, I need to forgive myself for doing X, Y, Z, you need to be fully cognizant and understanding of what you did and how it contributed to how things are at the moment. You don't just wake up and say, okay, fine, we overlook that fact that I did X, Y, Z, and then now, we move. We move. Before we move, we sort things out and then we move. Because if you do not sort things out, you will move, get stuck again with the same problem. You move, get stuck again with the same problem, and there's no growth. There's no growth in you as a person because you're failing to address the core of a problem. The core of the fact that you are not perfect. Right? And you play an active role in doing certain mistakes that are gonna cost you certain relationships, certain projects, certain marketing opportunities, networking opportunities. You know, it's very easy for us to pinpoint and want to blame people. No, I did this because this one. No, I did this because this one. But self-love, part of self-love is acknowledging the fact that when there's a relationship between two people, there's an active role that both the people play. So as much as you are quick to pinpoint what the other person did, reflect, Luena, introspect. What did you do? Not necessarily to suit the other person's agenda or to make them forgive you or to do whatever that is according to them, that is dependent on them for it to succeed. No. It's for you to also be cognizant of the fact that this is an issue that I need to deal with. This is a demon that I need to address so that when the next person comes, when the next project comes, when the next opportunity comes, I am better prepared. I may lose this one, yes, but it had to take me losing this one so that I learned that I have X, Y, Z problem that if I do not take care of now, it's going to cost me XYZ project, XYZ relationship, XYZ platform. Part of self-love is not giving up on yourself, right? So you have to ask yourself the uncomfortable questions. You have to admit to certain mistakes before you can go to someone and say, I'm sorry. Understand what you are apologizing for. And the only time when you can understand that is when you sit down with yourself and look at the things you did and acknowledge that you also played a role and fully account for the mistakes that you did. Don't be ashamed of saying, okay, I was wrong. I did this. You know, because apologizing is not easy. It's not easy. But it becomes very easy when you acknowledge that you are wrong. You don't just apologize for the sake of apologizing. Because that is where growth comes in. That is where, when the next time you encounter the same problem, you deal with it better. You know, because you are understanding what you are apologizing for. You understand what led the other person to act in a certain way. You understand how your role evoked certain emotions from a person. You know? So, self-love, I need people to understand that self-love really is not you shouting at us, telling us about how you love yourself, how beautiful you are, how much of a gorgeous body you have. It's not just that. That is just the easy part. The uncomfortable part is doing mistakes that are costing you so much, that have, shattered your heart so much, and still learning to live with yourself. Forgiving yourself after that. That is the hard part, the uncomfortable part. Admitting to the other person that I did this. That's the uncomfortable part. But the fulfillment that comes with taking responsibility for that kind of fulfillment is what we can say you can embrace and say, you love yourself, you are proud of yourself. Don't be proud of yourself for going around offending people. Don't be proud of yourself and not apologizing to people. Don't be proud of yourself going around failing to take accountability for the things that you do. And you cut everyone else off and you think it's self-love, you are protecting your sanity. You are not. You are dodging the fact that you have demons, you have imperfections that you need to work on. Work on them. Work on them. So everything that goes wrong, ask yourself, how did you contribute to it? Account for the things that you could have done better. Acknowledge the fact that you could have done certain things better. State how you could have done certain things better. So that next time when this thing comes, it does not hit you the same way that it did the first time. Right? So when we talk about you being proud of yourself, we are saying you moving from a point where you knew nothing. All you did was what you thought was right, but it costed you so much, it was a mistake. And moving from that to actually, I remember what I did the first time with this. Now let me do it better. Let me better apply myself like this. Oh, okay. Now can I deal with this? That's when we say, you can be proud of yourself. That's something to be very proud of. Don't be proud of suppressing emotions and not being honest with yourself. Don't be proud of postponing the healing period because you want to look happy. You are looking forward to just want to appearing happy. Yet you have internal conflicts with yourself. You have things that you are not at ease with yourself, Do not undermine, and I did this once, this week actually, undermine the beauty and the peace that comes with sleeping and not having anxiety when you wake up. You're like, hey, I'm good, I'm peaceful. You're not looking forward to a text from someone. You're not, you're not expectant of anything, or you are not, you're not anxious, man. You're not worried about anything. You're just peaceful. Like, Konja, have a phone. Now let's check the time. It hits you hours later. Don't underestimate that, because it tells you that you are content with yourself. And for you to be content with yourself, you need to be at a point where there's nothing that's bothering your soul, including some relationships that ended the way you didn't want to. You've forgiven everyone you needed to forgive. You've apologized to everyone you needed to apologize. Even if you're not going to forget what they did, or they're not going to forget what you did. But the fact that there was a conversation that shows growth, that shows accountability, that shows, emotional intelligence. You can be proud of that. That's how you protect your sanity. Protecting your sanity does not mean I'm like this, I'm naturally like this, I'm not going to change. This is me, you take it or leave it. No, you're cutting yourself short. Protecting your sanity also comes along with, okay, this is a bad trait. No, this is a bad habit, and I'm going to confront it. Yes, it may have costed me a relationship with someone, but let it not cost me the next relationship I'll have with the next person. You understand? So if you are dodging the fact that you've got imperfections and things that you need to work on, you can't go online and say you love yourself. You're fooling yourself. You're trying to convince people that you are content with everything that's happening, but internally you are dying. So be in a point where you acknowledge mistakes, and once you do that with yourself, you also do it with other people. How to already grudge and have grudges and, fail to apologize, forgive people and no, because you understand that with yourself, you can practice it with other people. So it also goes to show you that some of the people that refuse to forgive you may have been dealing with things that they couldn't forgive themselves for. So if they couldn't do it for themselves, what makes you think they'll do it for you? You understand? So take accountability. It's less about other people and more about you. So don't think self-love is you showing us how much you love yourself. It's you showing yourself how much you love yourself. It's you being proud of yourself. So let it be proud of something worthy Don't be proud of the fact that you got 52 likes on Instagram and yeah, it's the highest. And no, be proud of things that no one can take away from you. When we talk about growth, when we talk about success, it's not about materialistic things only. It's also the success in relationships. Can you keep up with this sponsorship for this long? And it doesn't mean you and sponsorship X will all automatically be in synchronicity. There will be tensions between you. There will be disagreements. There will be a point where you do not see eye to eye with this partner, with this person, with this lover. But if you fail to reason enough and be emotionally intelligent enough to introspect also in yourself how you contributed to the problem, and also look at the problem and the other person, look at it at all angles. If you fail to do that, you will not have successful relationships. And I'm not talking romance here. I'm talking sponsorship. I'm talking network. I'm talking, it's more than just, I love you, you love me, yeah, hey, So you need to understand that successful friendships, successful relationships, successful partnerships, people whom you've seen with sponsors from they've been together. It's not because they see eye to eye every day, but it's because they acknowledge the fact that we won't see eye to eye every day. We are different people, different minds. We see the world differently. But for this commonality, this thing that we both want to achieve, which we both benefit from, this is XYZ thing that we need to acknowledge. And for us to protect what we have, we need to let go of XYZ. I need to look at myself and say, okay, this is a threat to what you and I have. Let me deal with it. Don't deal with it for the betterment of or the fulfillment of the next person. Deal with it because it needs to be dealt with. It will help you with other sponsorship. Look at life beyond the current relationship. Look at life beyond the current boyfriend, the current girlfriend, the current project, the current, better yourself, improve yourself from what's happening now to, okay, whatever that's happening now, it's a lesson for the next person. For the next, for the next person, for the next project, for the next, that's how you grow as a person. You don't grow by postponing grief, by postponing confrontations, by postponing forgiveness, you don't grow. You instead become shallow. You born and hollow as well. You become a rock because there's so many things piled up, things that have other things that can grow you, but because you are failing to open. Or when you open, you don't want to go deeper to the core of the problem and acknowledge that you are wrong. You fail to get the things that you are meant to get, which will help you for the next phase of life. So self-love, when we say don't be too hard on yourself, we say it because we say acknowledge what you did, apologize for what you did, acknowledge that you could have done it better, state how you could have done it better. And once you know that, once you've reached those stages, don't be too hard on yourself. I agree, you've done that. The reason why many of us are too hard on ourselves is because we see the mistakes and then we see that we played an active role in it. It offends us. We are angry at ourselves. We can't. That's why you become too hard on yourself, because you're failing to understand that, okay, fine, these things happen. You learn from it. You look at how you can do it better next time. You do this, you do this, you do this, and then you are over it. You move on as a better, wiser person. So you will beat yourself up every day for the same mistakes over and over again because you are not allowing yourself that process of unpacking it enough, going deeper enough to look at how you can better prepare yourself for the next mistake, for the next phase, for the next project, for the next person. You understand? So when we talk self-love, I hope your perception has changed now on the concept itself. Don't make it about how other people seeing you. Make it more about you being content, Make it more about you having addressed every internal conflict that you may have had. Because waking up very peaceful, it's so nice to wake up and say, I don't have an unaddressed issue. And because it comes with so much peace, you would want to retain that peace such that when you have an unaddressed issue, you'll want to address it. When you have something that does not sit well with you, you want to address it. Like this week, I got to realize, all right, man, it's so nice to wake up like this. I want to wake up like this every day. Every day. And for me to wake up like this every day, I need to protect my sanity. In me protecting my sanity, I need to also understand that I'm not perfect. I am human. I will make mistakes. Some will cost me so many things. Some will cost me things I didn't expect. I'm going to lose in the process. But while I do that, I'm learning. So protecting your sanity comes along with challenging yourself. Challenging yourself to, hi man, I want to know better. Okay, fine, I lost the relationship, it's okay. But then what can I get from this? So that for the next relationship, I'm proper, Okay, I lost the project, it's fine. I lost the sponsorship, I lost the bursary. But then what can I do now? So that the next bursary, I know what to do. Honey, it is only when you fail and you feel it and you experience it, you go through it. Because with the pain, you cannot transfer it to another person. It is with pain and with failure that you get to feel it, and the next time it happens, you know how it feels. And because you know how it feels, all the lessons you've drawn during that period, they'll come into play. Because you know how it feels, you understand that you are not going to deliberately let yourself go there. But if you do not address those emotions, if you do not address those internal conflicts, if you just cover things up, they will blow at the same time one day and you will break down, honey. You will break down because you are so piled up. Having emotional breakdowns is not nice. And when you have an emotional breakdown, you don't have it today and tomorrow things are okay. No, you have it today, internalize it, deal with it. Address it, feel it, be present in the moment. Look at what it has to teach you so that you don't have it again tomorrow. Because if you're going to pretend like everything is okay, if you're going to pretend that you don't need help, if you're going to pretend that you can help, you cannot not, if you're going to pretend that you cannot help yourself, you are powerless. It's how you are. You are like that naturally. It's your makeup. It's your DNA. You are cutting yourself short. You are not going to enjoy this life thing. Friendships about 10 years, and then you ask them and they're like, we've been through this, and we've been through that, and we've been through that. We didn't understand each other. We couldn't see eye to eye. But we are here today after 10 years. What kept them together? It's not because they said, I'm like this, you take it or leave it. No, they worked on it. They worked on it. So before you preach self-love, are you really loving yourself? Because if you love yourself, you will do what we call self-preservation. All those uncomfortable things that I've mentioned, you'll do it. You'll do them. And you being proud of yourself, it will be more than just you being able to buy yourself a pair of sneakers. You'll be proud of the emotional journey. Because we live in a world where people, you have it all, but an emotional being, honey. You are not emotionally intelligent. Yeah, you've got all the degrees. Honey, you are wise. You've got everything, but you're not emotionally intelligent. And because of that, you'll make decisions that are going to cost you. You'll constantly make decisions that are costing you. When you're flopping when it comes to emotions, because you're failing to handle that. You've got everything else covered. You've got your degrees, your qualifications, but your emotional self, your intentional self, you can't deal with it. And every time you're breaking down. That's why people are like, Marwena, after everything, and then you're still not happy, and then you're breaking down. What's happening? You're not addressing things. You're so focused and consumed about worldly things, materialistic things and everything, that you ignore the person in here that needs attention. The emotional being that needs inculcation as well, that needs the introduction of certain things that are going to be for the betterment of that person. So, humanly, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, be in sync, And in sync, I'm not saying be like ditamaisane and then be at the same degree. Yeah, go emotional, ukaba go 4. But then scan go 4. Go 5. Financially, ukaba go 2. Scan go 2. Go 3. Like improve. Be in a constant state of wanting to improve yourself. And once you do that, you do not take criticism as offense. Because it starts with you. I get it. How is self-criticism? Whoever else criticizes you outside, you no longer see it as offensive. You no longer see it as, they have a thing against me. No, you acknowledge the fact that, okay, maybe let's look at it. Do I indeed have a problem? Do I think I have a problem? Okay, it's a problem. Let's sort it. No, it's not a problem. When you've